Hi friends, coming in here quickly for the Astro News weather report of the week. Today is September 13th and this one goes until September 20th, I believe. Yes, from Tuesday to Monday. So we go to September 19th actually. Yeah, we're at the end of Virgo and the end of summer 2022. Clearly, the weather is changing, the meteorological weather is changing, the astro weather is changing from Virgo to Libra, and we're seeing a lot of Virgo Libra dynamics going on these days. That is a theme that I call Virgo Libra cusp. I call that the design point. Design because Virgo brings functionality, Virgo brings health, wellness, things being orderly, being well organized. And Libra brings beauty, aesthetics, and art. So, and right relationship, of course. So design is one theme for Virgo Libra, and you could also say yes, healthy relationships where people are in their own wholeness, completeness, self actualization, self realization, self awareness, self sufficiency, not being prone to codependency. And from that place to enter a relationship with someone who's really good match for you, and making that choice is a theme for Virgo Libra. So wherever the cusp of Virgo to Libra is in your chart, that's where this theme plays out. So it can be also about your business, it can be about your home, it can be about your career, can be about relationships, can be also about the relationship with yourself. So that is being shown through your chart, through houses, and of course also planets are really influential. So it's a pretty complex system, but I find it also very accessible and very holistic, and it can be very easily, I mean, when you have an eye for it and some experience, you can easily spot things very clearly and directly. Anyway, this much for astrology and the cusp of Virgo Libra, which is very accentuated now because we have in Virgo still the Sun, as I said, in its last degrees, last days of Virgo, and we have Venus still in Virgo until the 28th, I believe it is, of September. Let me verify. Venus leaves on the 29th, actually, of September, leaves Virgo and goes into Libra, which is the domain, one of the domains of Venus. And in Virgo, in Virgo we have Sun and Venus, which rules Virgo, and in Libra we have Mercury, which rules Virgo, right? So we have a mutual reception. The planet of Virgo, Mercury, is in Libra, and the planet of Libra, Venus, is in Virgo. So that's why I'm saying this theme is playing out seasonally, not long term, but for the next while. Yeah, so you might have also noticed, especially with the Mercury retro effect now since September 9th and goes on until October 2nd, that we need to really be mindful and clear regarding agreements, especially with Libra. And regarding choices and regarding people in our lives and activities, choices in general, are they a good match for who we are? Is this a healthy choice? And it's time to reflect on these things and look at patterns, why you might have gone into a relationship with somebody because maybe you played nice and you were in need of a relationship more than actually assessing and discerning whether the person really is good for you and you good for them. So relationship dynamics can be actually also shown and explored through tools with astrology. So we have the two tools actually. One is synastry and one is composite. Not sinister, but synastry, not sinistry. So that's Sin is together, and Astra has to do with stars again, right? So how do the stars and planets actually interact with each other together with somebody else is the theme. So what are your dynamics in the relationship with someone? And then the composite chart shows the relationship itself, actually, the chart, the system, the dynamics in the relationship as which has a life of its own, especially when we have been together with somebody for a while. So these things can be explored, of course, assisting you with your awareness, not replacing your own self sense in you, your own self sense making, and not, of course, not your intuition, your instinct, let alone your heart. That is always priority. Astrology is an assistant, and it's not here to rule your life. So a little bit about all that, because we have otherwise this week no super dramatic aspects. We have the moon now waning after the harvest moon, which was quite a strong, emotional, and swept away energy with Moon Neptune, the Queen passing, and all the mourning, grieving, all the letting go, and the bursting of a bubble, perhaps happening afterwards, having this constant presence of this institution of Queen Elizabeth in our lives, and now she's gone. So yeah, so all kinds of feelings could have come up for you, or also as you tune into the collective, regarding loss, abandonment, grieving, previous grievings. I mean, she was such a in a way institutionalized mother figure, of course, of the old empire world, which is now also expiring. So we're in a world of big transition, and again another evidence that 2022 is such a transition year. So I am in the process of writing an article about Queen Elizabeth's chart, and some exploration around her, being guided by astrology, not having any claim around having historical or otherwise opinions around the monarchy or her. This is more like really with beginner's mind and openness to explore what astrology says to the life of somebody as significant for the history of 2020, of the 20th century and early 21st centuries. So yeah, this much for supermoon. Yes, I just said the supermoon. Queen Elizabeth passed less than 2 days before that harvest moon. Sorry, I said supermoon. And yeah, completion, fullness, and harvest. Yeah, spiritual harvest has been a theme for the harvest moon. So I'm sure you felt your own share of that and have done some harvest awareness. Now the moon is waning since then, and this week is a waning moon phase. Next week too, before we come to the Libra new moon on September 25th. So the moon is now in Taurus in her most favorite abode. Yes, today and still tomorrow, which is a lovely, very grounding, very earthy energy, and can be also very nourishing, wonderful to slow down and enjoy, and also yeah, food has to do with Taurus. All the senses, gardening would be wonderful now as well, especially also since it's a waning moon, taking care of the summer harvest and being also yeah, clearing the ground in that way for the fall. And after the Taurus moon comes the Gemini moon towards the weekend. That is Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday will be the moon in Cancer. And Monday will be also the day of the funeral after 10 days of mourning and tons of more ceremony for Queen Elizabeth. And so the funeral will be on the waning Cancer moon day. What an alignment, right? For the royal family, for this big event. And yeah, afterwards from Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon on, we have the moon in Leo. But that will be the topic for the next weather week of weather of the following week. Okay, getting a little late in the day. And what else do we have this week besides the waning moon? We have on September 16th, right now rather quiet still in the astro weather. Friday we have two alignments. The 16th, Venus in Virgo will square Mars in Gemini, and the Sun will oppose, Sun in Virgo and Virgo will oppose Neptune in Pisces. So that's sort of a reverberation of the full moon in Pisces with Neptune, right? So it's like it was the moon on the 10th, and now it's the Sun on the 16th. That the moon was with Neptune, and now the Sun exactly opposes Neptune. So this could be also sort of a juxtaposition, a polarity between us being very much in preparation mode with Virgo for the fall, and in strong busy activities and putting our mind, our consciousness, it's also Mercury retro, being super mentally active energy. So much is swirling around in our minds that sort of needs to be done before it gets cooler and darker. So and then on the other hand, so being very much in the doing mode, and on the other hand with with Neptune in Pisces, that is the being state, the vibration you're in, what you exude, and what energy field you generate around you. And that can make things more complicated, more difficult, more contaminated, more toxic, or also really blissful. So, and easier. That's a Pisces notion. Make it easier. Why harder? Why more complicated? And yeah, love, right? Rather than all the activities that apparently make us feel better, make us feel productive, but on the other hand, everything goes easier with love. That's a theme with Neptune versus the Sun. And of course, it's also a big letting go experience. It's also the waning moon phase. And Neptune is a lot about surrender, allowing, letting things pass, letting things go as needed, and knowing that the universe is always, there's always more and other things are coming, right? So we don't need to be in a scarcity, frantic, squirrely, Virgo, frantic scarcity mode. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't get, if I don't take care of this and this, I don't get that and that. No, actually allowing things to come your way and being, as I said, in a good vibration, see how that changes everything. So yeah, and also on the 16th is Venus square Mars. That's actually quite, and not just Mars, but also the moon, both in Gemini, while Venus in Virgo. So that can be actually quite a nice, juicy, interesting vibe for being out and about, being very maybe flirtatious actually with the Gemini Virgo theme. And yeah, so put yourself out if you're curious about potential relationship potential, or just playful energy with people. That is about attraction, and it's also about taking some action. And so that's a Venus Mars thing. And then on the 18th, that's the Sunday, we have Mercury retro in Libra, opposing again Jupiter retro in Aries. There's a triple alignment of Mercury and Jupiter before, during, and after retro. First one was September 2nd, before Mercury went retro. It just went into the storm then. And then on September 18th, and then once again on October the 12th after the retro phase. So there's again a bridging of these polar opposites. The Libra side is very considerate. It's very contemplating different options, and might be actually sitting on a fence regarding choices, because there's so many implications, so many things to consider, and being very much in the mind and the head about that. Okay, sorry. I'm just getting a call here now. Just a second. I'm almost done. And then I'll go on my FaceTime call. So that one is the Mercury Jupiter comes once more, and is a lot about this polarity between thinking, the consideration, all the mental stuff. And Aries says, just do it, go ahead, be bold, be direct. And yeah, this was Mercury retro actually. Right, friend tried to call me. Okay, she tries again. Sorry. Okay, I have to. I'll be done almost. So yeah, and so we gotta bridge that again, right? So being in our own mode of this is what we need to do now, which is what I'm doing here also with Aries, versus oh, the other person is also there and I need to consider them, and what about us, and what about the relationship dynamics and all of that. So, and then we have also on September 18th, the Sun in Virgo in trine with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. So that is a theme, very grounding, very coming actually to our core and to our soul and to our inner resourcefulness and to our clarity around who we really are as the self, not just the personal self, but the deeper core and soul self. Here's an opportunity. It's not a given, but a trine always is a very auspicious energy to work with. Then lastly, on September 19th, that's the Monday, the last day of this Astro Week here, we have the Moon in Cancer meets Lilith. So this is the Lilith day of the week, of the month, if you will. So this is an energy of really coming into home, into ourselves. So very an unconditioned home. Home is where the wild heart is, I say, right? So it's like preconditioned. Where do we really feel we belong? So tuning into that. And then Venus is still in Virgo, in trine with the North Node and Uranus in Taurus. So there's a beautiful opportunity to come to bring together our own self aware and self-sufficient and self-reliant energy with freedom, embodying freedom, enjoying ourselves. So not that it's an anti-relationship thing, but it's more like I am whole, I'm complete, I'm free, and I value that, and I value myself in that. So I close with this because his friend is also waiting on FaceTime, and it's a bit of unusual scene here, but here we go, and I do it in one go. I won't record this again, and I see you again next week. All else in the show notes below, and you can always find more about my offerings and daily posts on my Facebook page, which I also link to. Take care. Bye. Have an awesome week. Ciao.